Believing versus worshiping. They're not the same thing. You say you believe in God. That's good. But here's the thing. So do demons. And they're not exactly on the guest list for the wedding supper of the Lamb. So what's the difference? What separates a demon's belief from yours? Because if we don't know the answer to that, we might be in more trouble than we think. James chapter 2, verse 19. You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder. Now, let's just think about the logistics for a second. The demons, and I'm talking about fallen angels, beings that have actually been in the presence of God, they believe. Not in a vague, I think there's something out there kind of way. They know. They have more theological certainty than any seminary professor, any pastor, any theologian you've ever heard. They were there. And their response to that belief? They shudder. The Greek word there is phriso. It means to bristle, to tremble with fear. These beings believe in God so thoroughly that their entire existence is a response of terror. But that terror, that belief, does not save them. So if even demons have correct theology, what separates saving faith from demonic faith? That's where we're going. Here's the problem. A lot of us were raised to think that believing in God is the finish line. Say the prayer, check the box, you're good. But Scripture paints a very different picture. Belief, in the way most people use that word, is intellectual. It's a mental acknowledgement that something is true. I believe gravity exists. I believe the earth is round. I believe Jesus died on a cross. Those are all statements of fact I accept in my mind. Cool. Worship is something else entirely. Worship is not what you think about God. Worship is what you do with what you think about God. It's the direction your life moves when you actually believe what you say you believe. Did you catch that word, do? Because that's where James is going in chapter 2, verse 17. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. James isn't saying works save you. He's saying works prove you. They're the evidence that your belief is the real thing and not just demon-level theology. Now, let's keep going because Jesus himself draws the line for us. John chapter 4. The woman at the well. She's having a theological conversation with Jesus, and I love this about her. She's trying to talk doctrine, while Jesus is trying to talk about her soul. She asks where the right place to worship is, this mountain or Jerusalem? And Jesus essentially says, you're asking the wrong question. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such people to worship him. Let that sit for a second. The Father is seeking worshipers. Not believers, not people who mentally agree with the right doctrine. He's seeking worshipers, people who engage with him in spirit and truth. In spirit, that means it's not about a location, not about a building, not about a ritual. It's about the posture of your heart. And in truth, it has to be grounded in who God actually is, not who you've decided he is. You can't worship a God you've made up, and you can't truly worship the real God with just your mind. It has to go deeper. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Because Jesus actually quotes Isaiah to warn about exactly this problem. Matthew 15, verse 8. This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. That's the gap. That's the space between believing and worshiping. Their lips said the right things. Outwardly, they checked every box. They showed up. They sang the songs. They knew the scriptures. But their heart, the part of them that loves, that prioritizes, that makes decisions when no one is watching, was somewhere else entirely. Worship is not your Sunday morning posture. It's where your heart lives the other 6.5 days. It's what you run to when you're stressed. It's what you think about when the distractions are stripped away. It's where your money goes, where your time goes, where your anxiety goes. Jesus is saying you can have perfect religious attendance and still have a heart that's on vacation from God. So what does real worship look like? Paul gives us the answer in Romans 12. And it's not what most people expect. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Did you catch that word? Bodies. Not just your mind, not just your Sunday morning. Your body, your actual physical life. What you do with your hands, where you go with your feet, what you look at with your eyes, what you say with your mouth. A living sacrifice. That's an oxymoron, by the way. In the Old Testament, sacrifices were dead. You put them on the altar, and they stayed there. Paul says, no, you're a living sacrifice, which means every morning you wake up and crawl back onto the altar. That's worship. Not a song you sing, a life you lay down, over and over. So here's the bottom line. Demons believe in God. They have perfect theology. They know exactly who He is, what He's done, and what's coming. And it does them zero good, because their belief doesn't produce worship, it produces terror. What the demons are missing is surrender, relationship, and obedience. So if your relationship with God starts and stops at the things you agree with in your head, you've got more in common with them than you think. The question isn't, do you believe in God? The question is, does your life look like someone who actually does? If this hits something in you, do me a favor and hit that like button. It actually helps more people find this video when they need it most. And subscribe. I make videos for people who are walking through real things and looking for what God actually said. Tell me in the comments, what's one area of your life where your worship hasn't quite caught up with your belief? I'll see you in the next one.